All right, let's talk about a character you probably think you know, Mahishasura, the buffalo demon. But what if I told you that the story of his epic fight with goddess Durga, well, that's just one chapter in a much bigger, much more complicated book. Let's get right into it.
And this is the central question we're going to explore. For millions, he's the ultimate bad guy, the very definition of evil. But for an entire community, he's a celebrated king, an ancestor who was tragically lost. So how on earth can one figure be both things at the same time?
First up, let's start with the story that most of us are familiar with, the one that's at the very heart of the Durga Puja festival. You know, the classic tale of divine justice. So the story goes that Mahishasura was this incredibly powerful asura. Through a combination of clever boons and just sheer force, he pulls off the impossible. He actually defeats the gods, kicks them out of heaven, and takes over, pretty much turning the entire cosmos upside down. This is when the gods, in desperation, pool all of their divine energies to create the ultimate warrior, goddess Durga. And after this massive, epic battle, she finally brings him down. It's a powerful, clear-cut story, right? Good wins, evil loses. End of story. Or is it?
Well, like all great myths, this one is working on a whole other level. It's not just about a literal fight. So what does Mahishasura really stand for? The scriptures themselves suggest he's way more than just some monster. He isn't just an enemy out there. He's actually a mirror for the kind of demons we all fight inside ourselves. Think about it. Mahishasura symbolizes our own worst traits, that out-of-control ego, our own base instincts, our ignorance, and maybe most of all, that bottomless greed. So when you look at it that way, Durga defeating him isn't just a cosmic event. It's a story about us conquering our own flaws. And this story didn't just stay in the ancient books. Its legacy is literally carved into the map of India. Get this, the famous city of Mysore, Mysore, is believed to get its name from Mahishasura Uru, which literally means the town of Mahishasura. Local tradition says this is the exact spot where he was finally defeated by the goddess, who they worship there as Chamundeshwari.
And this connection is seriously ancient. We're talking about historical records from the time of Emperor Ashoka, way back in 245 BCE, that call this whole region Mahishamandala, the land of Mahisha. That just shows you how deep these roots go.
Okay, so the story seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? A big demon is defeated, good triumphs over evil. Simple. Well, hold on, because another major Hindu text, the Kalika Purana, throws a fascinating wrench in the works.
See, in this telling, the battle between Durga and Mahishasura isn't a one-and-done deal. It's actually this recurring cosmic drama that plays out over three different cosmic ages. And each time the story evolves. The Kalika Purana says Mahishasura is defeated 3 separate times by 3 different forms of the goddess. First, by an 18-armed version, then a 16-armed one, and finally by the 10-armed Durga we're all familiar with. But it's what happens after that third and final defeat that changes everything. After he's finally beaten for good, Mahishasura is repentant, and the goddess grants him this incredible boon. She frees him from his demonic nature and promises that from now on he will be worshipped forever right there alongside her, at her feet. In that moment, he goes from being the ultimate villain to a redeemed soul, worthy of worship. Okay, so we've seen complexity, we've seen redemption, but now prepare to have everything you thought you knew turned completely on its head. We're about to look at a narrative that flips the entire script. For the Santhal Adivasi community of India, the story isn't just a little different. It's the complete and total opposite of the mainstream version. Just look at this. It's a total role reversal. In the Santhal narrative, the figure others call Durga isn't a goddess at all, but an Aryan spy. And Mahishasura? He's no demon. He is their great ancestral king, a hero named Hudur Durga. According to their tradition, Hudur Durga was the powerful and just ruler of a rich and prosperous kingdom. He isn't a symbol of chaos for them. He's a symbol of a golden age, a great leader of their people. Their oral history tells a story of deep betrayal. They say that when Aryan forces arrived, they couldn't defeat King Hudur Durga in a fair fight, so they resorted to deception.
A beautiful woman was sent to seduce the king, and she eventually married him. After 9 nights, and that number is no coincidence, she murdered him in his sleep. The invading army then attacked, and the Santhal men had to flee, disguised as women, to escape.
And this isn't just some ancient story. It directly shapes their lives today. For the Santhal community, the days of Durga Puja are not for celebration. It's a period of mourning for their murdered king. They worship Hudur Durga, and their men perform a dance called the Dasai, dressing in women's clothing to remember their ancestors' escape and to keep the memory of this great injustice alive. So, let's just take a step back. We have a divine story of good versus evil, a story of redemption, and a historical memory of betrayal and loss, all centered on the exact same character. How do we even begin to square all of this?
Well, the simple truth is you can't. The answer to whether Mahishasura is a hero or a villain depends entirely on whose story you're listening to. He exists as both, at the same time, in different traditions.
So let's just break it down. For mainstream Hinduism, he's the antagonist in a profound spiritual allegory. For the Santhal community, he's the hero in a historical tragedy. And even academics can't agree. Some scholars see this as a symbolic memory of an ancient conflict, maybe between Aryan and Dravidian groups. Others argue that the Hudur Durga story is a more modern creation, a way for the community to assert its own unique identity.
And that really leaves us with one last big question. The story of Mahishasura shows us that myths aren't just dusty old tales. They are living, breathing narratives that people use to define who they are, to remember their past, and to make sense of their present struggles. It's one character with so many truths, all shaped by the incredible power of storytelling.